Welcome back to MDG Media's coverage of the Baltic Disc Golf Championships 2024 final round back nine MPO lead card coverage from the final stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe season. I'm Andrew Gum, and I have with me in the booth Elias, Luukkonen, and it's 4 a.m., so we've officially entered zombie mode commentary. How does it feel?
It actually feels amazing. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of fun with this round and still a very exciting finish, so that will definitely keep us up and hopefully keep you guys up for the round, even through our slightly sleepy commentary. Some pretty exciting action on the front. Not that our card is playing incredible. Eetu played a really good front nine of 5 under. Everybody else kind of chugging along with decent scores, but Chase card is actually playing really good. I'm there, Maxim Tange is there, but most importantly, Daniel Davidson shredding the front nine. I think he went 6 or 7 under in the front.
Incredible pace, putting the pressure on these guys on the lead card. They are now probably aware of your guys' scores. That was kind of a strange scenario that they weren't really aware of the first 6 or 7 holes that you guys played, but here we are, hole 10, one of the signature holes on the course with the nice double mando. You got the bear, king and queen there. 88 meters, straight shot. You know, what you see is what you get. Just pipe the gap, try to stick it close if you can. It's usually pretty windy up here. It's kind of top of the mountain. Here's Eeka.
Bad early release, but actually turning very much over. Weird looking line. There is mostly a tailwind here. If anything, it's a tailwind from left to right, so I'd love to see some stability thrown with the discs that they're choosing.
Yeah, it looked like Eeka might have went under that mando thing. That's like one of the ways you can miss it, you know, by actually not like missing it really bad, but there's enough space for a disc to slide underneath there. Eetu gets through the gate. Best of the bunch so far. There he is, pin high, about 7-8 meters for the birdie. Roland still tied for the lead. He's kind of had a little bit of a slower start than yesterday. He was on absolute fire in the wind, 9 down, but that misses the mando.
And that was mostly the wind. You could see that even the slightly overstable approach disc that he had was just pushed to the right. And from the drop zone, it's not an easy putt. The wind is ripping left to right, so you have to put it pretty far up and look at the drop. That's crazy.
Straight out of the hand, just dove into the dirt. We saw Eeka was safe. He had to reach out with that forehand approach and put himself pretty close. Mathias looking for the 3, and he drills it. Great putt there.
Super confident. I feel like his putt is actually really good for the wind, as he has that very stabby look. I feel like if another player had a stroke that looked like his normal putt, we would easily think that they might be a little bit nervous, but Mathias, he has that very quick looking stroke. And I like it for the wind. He has a lot of spin on it.
Yeah, definitely a good low spin putter. Plays out nice in the wind. Roland getting the bogey, dropping off the lead. Yeah, nice arch shot there of the Bear King. Moving on to hole 11. This is a new one on the course, a par 3. Tell us a little bit about it.
A very interesting hole. It definitely feels quite new still. It's pretty tight on the line. You want to go right side of this middle tree with something straight to slightly fading, ideally mid-range or a fairway driver. Important to keep the disc pretty low because you're going downhill at the end after you go over the hillside. So the most important thing is to hit that gap. Second most important thing is to get lucky if you don't hit that gap, because that's also very much possible. You can squeeze through some of those tight trees.
Perfect description. That's exactly what's going on here. Mathias just crests that hill like you need to do. We don't get to see it from the catch in this case, but might have been a little bit too low maybe, or a little left perhaps. Might have hit a tree. Oh, yeah. This looks pretty good on that right side. Oh, it's really good. Look at it. Hunting the basket. That's so hard to do on this one. I've not seen that yet.
That was the perfect line. I haven't seen such a great shot. Actually, I have, because last round we saw a shot That was absolutely parked on this hole by Otto Mäkinen.
But that was like hunting chains there. Like pretty hard to peer that line with that height to give it a chance to go in. That was a beautiful shot.
For sure. And Roland here, more common, the low line.
Ooh,
So
another
pure as
one.
well.
Yeah, that one shoots a little long. Might be just outside the circle with the comebacker, but I liked it. Also, kind of almost had a chance to ring it up.
This is a common thing on this hole. If you miss the gap a little bit, you're gonna almost always have that jump putt approach. It's pretty easy, but you always have to miss a couple of trees. Same thing for Eeka here. Just trying to get down to the bullseye. And that's gonna be just okay, likely for the par, though with this wind that we had today, really no putts outside the bullseye are gimmies. And Roland, pretty big miss to the left. His putting stroke has been looking very good from the start of the round, but that one not typical for his putt.
3.04 average on this hole. 6th hardest today. As we saw that one come up just short. Nice putt there with the headwind on the elevated basket. Not as easy as they made it look. Just drilled it home.
Now this one pretty important putt, and well done there from Roland. He has an interesting stroke. His disc has a lot of speed. It's very flat as far as the angle goes, but doesn't have as much spin as some other players, even other players on the card. Roland really more of a push putter and creating some spin at the end with the fingers, but significantly lower spin rate than, for example, Eetu or Mathias.
Yeah, hole 12 is a par 3, 140 meters. Quite a beautiful green. Got this couple of trees to beat. What's the pro play on this one?
Pro play normally might be a slight turnover with your distance driver, but today we had an incredible wind for throwing the huge hyzer all the way around the right side. Usually 140 meters with a big hyzer is unreachable for almost everybody in the field, but today we have a right to left tailwind, so if you throw something glidey and overstable already on a hyzer angle, you're gonna get a huge lift from the wind. And let's see, Mathias going for exactly that line.
Yeah, steep angle hyzer. Wind pushes it up, smashes the apple tree, knocks about a dozen apples off almost. Had some speed on it. This is a little flatter, wider. Looks beautiful though, look at it. Okay, comes up a little short, but it's tracking on line.
Yeah, just a little wide there. Let's see if Eeka gets the line right. Also very wide. That looked like a bit of a grip lock out of the hand. I can't imagine he was trying to go that wide.
Ooh, stay safe, but yeah, a little too wide. There you see that wind ripping, exactly like you described it. This is more inside. Get some lift. Maybe too much fade. No, it's okay. Circle 2, pin high. Tough putt though, coming back into that wind.
Probably one of the windiest greens on the course today, as it's just fully in the open, and from the direction that the wind is blowing from, there are just not that many trees in the way. So even though there are trees on the backside of the green, from where these guys are putting from, there's really nothing to stop that wind from blowing. And if any of these guys can make their putt for the birdie, that would be huge for the momentum.
How was the chase card playing this hole?
We were incredible. Our worst drive was 10.5 meters as Eetu, incredible putt for the birdie.
Huge. What a highlight there. What an important stroke there. Get himself up into 3rd place momentarily. Chase card on fire, as you mentioned. Don't have video footage from it, unfortunately, but at least we have you to help walk us through. That's a really valuable asset here.
Yeah, we had a great round. I feel like everybody on the chase card was playing really well, and you see some of the scores here. Daniel actually leading right now. 9 down through 14. He was playing really good. I'm also up there pretty close, 7 under.
We are back on hole 13. It's a nice island hole, 100 meters downhill. Here you see it's quite more generous on the short side of it. OB creeps in pretty quick on the back. It's kind of right there, just outside the circle 1. Everything OB goes to that drop zone that you're seeing down there on the right. Kind of just a touchy little downhill speed control shot for you pros, yeah.
For sure. It's interesting to see actually if these guys end up going for the straight shot or the big hyzer. Big hyzer is pretty easy, especially in today's wind. There's going to be a tailwind here. And this straight shot actually has a chance to go OB long if you throw it a bit too hard.
Oh, there it is.
And yeah, I didn't try to foreshadow that one, but Eetu just too high out of the hand. And with the tailwind, these putters are pushing so far.
Second easiest hole on the course. 50% birdie rate. Pretty good stuff from the field. There's a bullseye hit, almost.
Eeka as well, a bit high here. Really want to see the disc coming down fast, and just does. 1 meter short of the OB line. It's a pretty big swing between being OB and not OB on this hole, as the drop zone is about 20 meters away. So for the par from 20.
Pretty hard to say that. That's the hyzer line you were talking about. Roland goes up over it all, crashes in near C1. Hit a late tree, or he might have been closer even. Eetu giving that a solid run. You see the rain's coming down. Wind definitely a factor. Nice putt there. Roland, yeah, capitalizing on that hyzer for the birdie. Eeka making good on his. Mathias parked for it. So everyone getting 2 strokes here on Eetu.
Making it tighter now. He's gonna drop down 1 stroke with the bogey. But as you said, yeah, essentially 2 strokes. It's always pretty much a birdie or a bogey on this hole, unless you miss a putt. That's the only way you're getting a par here.
Yeah, or if you drill some crazy highlight putt from the drop zone, but that's fairly unlikely. Maxime did it, I guess, round 1, so that's pretty cool. But here we are, hole 14. Big old downhill, righty backhand hyzer, OB all on the right side. Lots of MDG signs placed there by somebody. It was me. But yeah, nice green here with the rocks. And yeah, cool hole here. Averaging under par, so, you know, big arms going after it. It is downhill, so I guess it plays like a fair bit less than that 132 that you see.
For sure, the distance really more of a factor for the accuracy than the reaching the hole itself. Everybody can go with their overstable distance drivers just to get that consistent overstable finish at the end. And Mathias, with a great skip, it's not that consistent to get the skip on this hole, but he has played the same shot 2 days in a row, I believe, and exactly the same result. Eeka though, this is way too wide. Second time in 3 holes where he has played the shot way too wide out of the hand.
That's so wide. He's out of bounds. You rarely see that.
That's the first person I've seen on that OB on the right side through the entire tournament, considering also the practice rounds.
Pretty big mistake there at a very inopportune time, you know, trying to push up for some cash. And, you know, there are US DGC spots available here, 2 of them. I'm not sure if Eeka's qualified. I don't believe so.
Yeah, he's not. Eetu and Roland are the two players from this card that are already qualified. Mathias and Eeka missing some of the spots, but also our guys on the chase card. Everybody is missing the spot, so it's the USDGC spots work this way that they're going to the two best scores that don't have the spot yet. Eeka here, tricky approach and a trickier putt from around 10 meters.
This event also has double points for the Disc Golf Pro Tour Europe standings, being the finale. At this point, the only one who would be able to overtake Ricky Wysocki would be Mallory Vielman, but I don't think he's playing for the win, so it's looking like Ricky's going to take that title. But there's, some cash payouts to be decided. Double bogey there from Eeka. Not the hole you want to mess up, being the fourth easiest on the course. Definitely a birdie you want to get, but yeah, lots of bonus payouts and lots of clout as well for finishing up high on those standings for the solid competition this year, with all the American pros being over for at least a couple events in Europe.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great season and a great event to finish the season, especially a great course. It's honestly one of the best courses we play on tour, and I wish we saw some American players here. I bet they would love this course. Moving on to hole number 15. A pretty simple hole that can produce some difficulty, not really on the drive. The drive is a basic hyzer. You have this right side gap that you have to hit, but the gap is pretty wide. Most players are just playing a glidey, stable distance driver through the gap, try to get in the middle of the field from where you have about 100-meter approach to the green. Tricky green though, you have a slope on the right side, so if you land your right hand backhand hyzer on the right side of the green, you're almost always skipping or rolling down the hill. But if you land at all left, you can skip to the left side OB. So I think landing something very precisely just next to the basket is the only option to park it.
Yeah, pretty cool to see this one averaging under par as well. It's quite a difficult hole with the wind and everything. So, final day here, the field's got it figured out how to score. Pretty good tee shot so far. The gaps off the tee aren't really anything too much to worry about. You just have to kind of like pick your line wherever you want to go. These three little trees don't come into play too often, but they do make you kind of decide, where you're really aiming. You can't just like rip it nonsensely. Sorry, getting a little bit tired, but we're gonna finish strong here on the season. Eeka, super nice.
Going more inside, I think he might have had a bit of an early release, or just mentally could be really tricky going for a gap after having two bad late releases in the last 3 holes before this. And approach, we had a strong tailwind, so you can see the disc of Mathias just dropping down, and important to put some height on the shot to get over those walls. As Eetu is doing really nicely, but still even that disc is dropping so far down.
Works out nice though, curls up inside the bullseye. Everything plays as a hazard there between the rocks and the banner. So you really want to get over it. Green is pretty tough. There, you see that pretty often, but that curls actually, luckily, just in time. 11 meters. Quite uphill putt. Rain's coming down. Wind's blowing, gusting a lot. That hit the wall. Will be penalized.
Yeah, once again too low. Same mistake from both Mathias and Eeka. And from here, I love the layup play. I also love the courage of Eeka going for it. Maybe not from a scoring standpoint, but just showing off some, as I said, good courage. And the rain, you can see it's really calming down. The weather at the end of the round was horrible. It was rainy, and all of a sudden it was super windy as well. Not at this moment, but in about 10 minutes from now, it's gonna start blowing hard.
Yeah, and you guys were on some really bad holes for facing that kind of wind. hear more about that soon, but there we see good cleanup. Yeah, Eeka struggling here. Double and a bogey here on some of the later holes. Everybody else kind of moving right along. Eetu, I guess, slowed down a little bit. Moving on to hole 16. Really cool par 5. 260 meters. Throw over a valley here, and then you gotta try to get through this gap where you see a little bit of like a road path. Pretty tight there. More uphill than it looks at the end. The good drives will push all the way through this gap, giving them a chance to attack the green on the second. You do sometimes see some eagle looks, but I don't think anybody's connected on it yet this weekend, or don't recall. There you see in the FPO basket, but the hole extends much further into the woods and onto a very, very unique and interesting green.
Might be one of the, honestly, not even one of the, it might be the toughest green to stick that we play on tour. Just a huge drop off on pretty much all sides of the basket, and look at that roll from Eetu. Bit of a fade out at the end. It really wouldn't have been too bad either way, but with that roll he's gonna have a pretty easy time getting further down the fairway than most people. And Roland, interesting play. We did see this from some players in round 2, just going for the layup shorts, not even trying to get a lot of distance. It's a solid play, but I do think from a strategic standpoint, especially with the tailwind that we had today, I think it's just better to rip something into the woods. Even if you go into the woods off the fairway, you still get so much distance that it's pretty easy to get up and down for the birdie.
That's just a little bit on the right side. Gonna have some stuff in his way, but not the worst position. There you see everyone's got their umbrellas up. It's coming down. Trying to avoid another rain delay. There is, heavy scouting for the Lightning, trying to just hope we can get it finished. But yeah, tough conditions to play in for sure. These guys are under pressure from the chase card. What's happening with you all right now?
Chase card, we're actually still pushing pretty hard. On this hole we didn't get any birdies, but pretty much on the rest of the holes on the back 9, I mean, starting from about hole 5, I feel like we've had 2, 3, even 4 birdies on pretty much every hole. It's been a crazy good level of play on the chase. These guys really gotta finish strong to not be overtaken by us. I think we're pretty much tied with Daniel being the leader of the chase card. I'm just a couple of strokes back, but still very much in contention for the win for the both of us. As these guys scrambling down the fairway, that's a common look for this hole. Just a lot of trees to miss, and you can pretty much make up your own lines as you go on this fairway.
There you see how tight the green is. Steep drop-offs all around. Some little kind of barriers built to catch some of the stuff, but you really got to be super precise on the approach here if you don't want a stressful putt. It does pretty well. Roland gives it a run. Hopefully that stays put up there.
Big putt here. Not by distance, but by momentum definitely, and good make on the right side. And Eetu shooting a pretty sneaky good round, even with a couple of bogeys on the back. 7 under already, and Mathias, that was pretty much a must make. He's gonna be a couple of strokes back going into the last 2 holes. Last 2 holes can definitely produce some swings, but I think in today's conditions a lot of players are gonna be playing them pretty safe. It's not that you really have to birdie the last 2 holes.
Super exciting here coming down the stretch, knowing how hot the chase card is and seeing what's happening here on this lead card. Nobody really, kind of establishing dominance. Hole 17 is a very touchy downhill par 3, 118 meters. Drones flying through the gap here, which you see about half the shots. Other people taking it around the left side where it's a bit more open, trying to crash something in on the green. But yeah, OB lurking all around, and when the wind's playing up, super hard to keep this one in bounds.
For sure, I think the safest shot is going to be that around the outside forehand with something pretty overstable. In the headwind that we had today, super important to keep the disc from turning over too much. Let's see if Eetu is able to do that.
He hates it out of his hand. Oh, I can see, yeah, I guess it'll be pretty early.
Huge mistake on this hole 17. Especially considering that this is pretty much the moment that we were finished with the round. And as Eeka is OB as well. I am 18 under, finished, and Daniel, who beat me by 1 stroke, he's 19 under and finished with the round. So that's the number that these guys need to catch if they want to make it for the win or even for the second spot. I'm right now second at that 18 under, which is not a guarantee for these players.
Yeah, like the main players in contention are OB here off the tee. So it's looking pretty good for a chase card victory at the moment. Whoa, look at that. Huge range on the putt. Super highlight. How far was that? 30 almost?
That had to be around 30 meters. The disc was in the air for such a long time.
Let me see the slow-mo. Look at that. Boom. Sick.
Whoa.
That's cool, man. He had a really nice throw in to finish his round in Yarva as well, didn't he, on that final day? Even further than that out.
Yeah, it's almost becoming like a signature thing. And Eetu here trying to do something similar just under the basket there.
Mathias with that little stabby spin putt. Comes up a little bit short this time. Roland is going to have to take a bogey. Or no, is that even...
A double
he had
bogey.
he had an early tree. So that's going to take him out of it, really. That's too far back now.
Yeah.
Unless he can ace the last hole, but...
I mean, he did park it for the eagle in round 2, but I think in today's headwind it's gonna be impossible to reach it. Even the biggest arms in the field are not reaching the last hole.
Yeah, big trip up there at the end for Roland. Came in as the leader, but now he's gonna have to try to position himself for something as high as he can, and out of contention for the win. Hole 18, brilliant finishing hole. Absolutely love this hole. So much can happen. Eagles in play, like you said, kind of depending on the wind, but big score swings can take place here. 3.91 average today. And there you see the green, elevated basket. OB pretty tight on the right side. And these trees behind can be an issue too. If you end up behind them, it can be pretty hard to get it up and in.
For sure. Today in this win, the name of the game is gonna be throw your most overstable driver out there to the right and just hopefully fade back safe. Eeka is not doing that. He's gonna be OB left. Anything left side of that path is gonna be OB. So I think you'd rather hang it out a bit too far right, because then you at least have a chance to fly over the fairway.
Yeah, anything OB goes to the drop zone, which is a pretty demanding drop zone, really. It's about almost 100 meters or so, maybe more. And it can be a pretty tricky shot to execute. Feels really good to get up and down from there. This one in safe. Eetu still in this. He just needs a birdie now to push a playoff, so he's safe on the fairway.
Yeah, great moment and a very clutch shot from him. Is no guaranteed being safe here with the headwind that we have. And Roland there, interesting position. He's gonna be behind the fence but safe, so he doesn't really have a great swing to go at the basket. Even though in his situation, I think he pretty much has to get the eagle here to have any sort of chance.
Here we see that drop zone from Eeka. Puts a good move on it, but it's a little bit overturned and does not come back in. Almost saved by the banners there, the banner wall, but not quite. So double OB for him. Tough finish.
And now this is actually to tie me for the US DGC spot. And that's not the case, unfortunately. Matthias was the only player besides me and Daniel who was in contention for the US DGC spot, as Roland and Eetu both have the spot already. But he's not going to get it now.
So at that point, you knew you had qualified for the US DGC?
Yes.
How did that feel?
It feels great. It's a special feeling. It's definitely an honor to get the invitation. And Eetu here just needs a layup. This is not a great layup though. He has left it 5 meters away, and with some wind, that's pretty nervy.
Yeah. Yeah, exciting moment here. As we see Eeka finish with the bogey. He's played really well the last few weekends, but look at that scorecard in the end. He kind of fell off the track a little bit when it counted the most. Roland struggled on the back nine. You know, no exception here on this one.
Tough to see, and especially the last 2 holes. You know, he was in it to win it before the last 2, but just a bit of a meltdown at the end. But I'm sure he's gonna get some wins in the future. And this is Eetu.
It to push the playoff. Solid birdie. Didn't take too long with it. Just stepped up and put it in the basket. Didn't let himself overthink it. And we're gonna have more disc golf here on MDG Media.
Have you ruffled starter?
Eetu aloittaa, jos tää tulee, niin mä aloitan. Eetu taisi olla. Mäkin unohdin vittu, mä luulin, että sä olit sä. Se.
Ja vuoroavaukset on.
Ja mikä ne oli? Tää 15-8.
And so, Daniel Davidson from the chase card. Eetu Tuominen from the lead card. We'll play holes 1, 15, and 18 in succession until we have a winner. Eetu steps up and gets it into C1. Huge drive there.
Incredible shot. This is on the edge of what Eetu can reach. He was very happy with the shot himself. And Daniel, look at the power, just going full hyzer. Bit of a flip up and perfect shot, putting all of the pressure on Eetu.
What a clutch drive there to put it in the bullseye. Putting the pressure back on Eetu after he put it in C1. Incredible. Epic start here to the playoff. Can Eetu stay alive from 9 meters? Yes, sir. Drills it. That has to be a nervy moment. I mean, mad respect for getting it done there, you know, clutching up and hitting it in the chains.
Yeah, it has to be nervy. He just doesn't look nervous at all, though. He's always has that pretty casual demeanor, just walking up to the line and throwing. And now we're on 15. Back to the hole where you throw a couple of hyzers. The wind has actually died down completely now, so for the playoff we have perfect conditions. No wind, no rain, no risk of lightning anymore. So the players have a great chance to show off their control with no wind.
Yeah. Daniel's a bit further up, but both in, you know, good spot to get the birdie still. He's going to take a big shot here from Eetu. Swinging it wide. Looks brilliant. Right on line. Skips and curls up just outside the bullseye ring. Huge shot there.
Now Daniel so much closer. He's going with an overstable mid-range. Very overstable mid-range. Also looks great. And he's just outside the bullseye as well.
Oh, wow.
They're gonna pretty much both get guaranteed birdies here. Just a tap in. Good birdie. Eetu's gonna do the same, and we're gonna have at least a 3-hole playoff now going into hole number 18.
So cool to see them play these holes again and get the birdies. And 18. I think one of my favorite finishing holes in disc golf, just for what it can, you know, display, like all the different scores that are possible. Let's see here. Eetu's gonna go after it. You said the wind's not great for the eagle, but the closer you can get, the better, I suppose. Keeping it in bounds is key. He does just that. Almost circle 2, or maybe inside.
Yeah, pretty much a perfect shot. And Daniel, more aggressive, turning over towards the right side. This needs to slow down before. And good overstable finish on the disc. He's a little bit closer than Eetu, so Eetu really has the decision whether he wants to run it from 20 meters out or just lay up. Both options are pretty good because Daniel is also about 19 meters away.
Yeah, looks like he was giving that a chance, you know, a little. It was chain high coming in, but leaves himself a little bit of work left. Look at this. Oh, crafty, soft run. I like that a lot. Getting it to drop, you know, giving it a chance, but not letting it blow past. A good touch on that. And Eetu, again, like you said, doesn't seem nervous. You know, this have to be like, you got to be thinking what it means, you know, in a playoff, right? You know exactly you have to make it, but he just doesn't seem to sweat it. Daniel in too, so 3 for 3. You know, the turkey in the playoff.
Yeah.
This is pretty awesome, man. I'm really enjoying this.
We're back to hole number 1. Daniel, same shot, a little higher this time, but still looking amazing. And he has actually
hits the
hit
koozie.
the basket. That's
What?
crazy.
That's so much power.
So precise. And now Eetu, significantly worse of a hole for Eetu as he doesn't have quite the same distance. Having to go with a bit of a flex shot here. A bit higher, looks like it's actually fading a bit further left than last time.
Oh, it got some good turn though. And that's really that's right there. That's even better than it didn't look quite as good, but it was better result. And he just pretty much taps in there. Not taking any time to worry about these putts, just putting it in the home. And there we have it. 4 consecutive birdies in the playoff. This is epic. I hope you're all enjoying this out there.
That's incredible. And these guys said it's feeling really casual. You know, they're great friends together, both from the Tampere area in Finland, a great area for disc golf, hosting the European Open next year, the World Championships as well. And the guys are saying it's almost feeling like a weeklies playoff for the win of local weeklies.
Wow, that's so cool. Getting to battle it out here at the finale. Epic playoff. Good buddies just doing their thing out there.
Good drives by both. Same approach as last time. Eetu, great looking line. Needs to get long though. And that's gonna be in the circle. This time he will have to make a putt though. Not parked the same way as last.
Oh, he slipped a little bit. And it skips OB. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Here he is. If he can make this, he'll put some pressure on, but that's going to spell the end of his run for the win. Eetu can just lay up here now and collect the title. He will be your Baltic Disc Golf champion from, yeah. I don't know, a very dramatic finish, very exciting all the way through.
Ladies and gentlemen, Baltic Disc Golf Championship sponsored by Innova Champion Discs, MPO champion, Eetu Tuominen. Congrats. This is your medal also here. I will put. Your champion, applause.
Such an excellent event. They really know how to put things on here in Estonia. Tons of great courses.
Miten mä menen?
We're gonna get a speech. Nope. But yeah, congratulations on that US DGC spot for you. That was an epic playoff. Man, yeah, that was super fun. I mean, I'm overjoyed and honored to be beside you here in the booth and to have all your valuable insights about the game. It's amazing. You're great at this, and yeah, thanks everybody for putting this production together. MDG Media, on tour, on the road, just doing it all for the love of the game, and all your support means a lot. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. It was a pleasure doing this, and thank you guys for watching through the entire season. And see you next year. How sad that is, but it's true. We'll be back, that's for sure. See you next year.